981fm.com and iHeartStation.
Nancia, Smokehouse, it's the urban heat. Shout out to Coach Live.
Coach LA's time to listen to conversations that's gonna keep you winning. Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on the urban heat, just call it. Conversations with Coach La 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 La. Coach La 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 La. If you got something on your mind, you can call in, you can hit a line. She the realest, ooh, she the realest. You can tap in loud, oh, we get the business to empower you so that you can do every and anything that you want to. Kicking it with Coach LA's time to listen to conversations that's gonna keep you winning. Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on the urban heat, just call it. Conversations with Coach La 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 La. Coach La 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 La.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach La La La. Your favorite around the way therapist is in the building on this nice and warm Sunday. I don't know. Boston's weather's been showing up and showing out. It was like 80 degrees today here. I don't know. It's October. What y'all got to say about that? Global warming? What y'all think? I'm not complaining. It's October. It's a nice day. I was able to get some rest today. Shout out to everyone that I hung out with this weekend. Yeah, I'm still outside. Probably still be outside until about November. But the weather's good. So since the weather's good, I'll be outside as long as the weather's nice. I just don't like to be cold, y'all. Don't like to be cold at all. You guys know you're tuned into the Urban Heat, Boston's only Black-owned radio station that is on the iHeartRadio platform. And yes, we're very proud about that here. So you're tuned into Conversations with Coach La. Of course, I call myself your favorite around the way therapist. And this weekend, I did a couple of really cool things. I participated in another walk, a 2.5 mile walk that was held by Dr. Kimberly Claus. She was on the show last week, and we talked about that we are officially in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And that was a great day. Shout out to everyone that sponsored that, Sanofi and the NAACP, Jesus, okay. It was a beautiful day outside, just, sisterhood and community. So that was awesome. And then I went and I celebrated resilience with Vic Breedy. And that was a great day. We gave out 4 awards. One of the people who got an award was DJ Nestle Quick. And he shared his journey with battling cancer, pancreatic cancer to be exact. So it was a moving day. We had House of Nadra. I got to MC it with the North Shore Griot, Mr. Murkison, Daryl Murkison. So it was a good weekend. And then today I did absolutely nothing. I rested all day long. So I hope you guys got a chance to rest. I hope you had an opportunity to connect and mother yourself and connect with your community. And yeah, so next weekend I am doing the Strong Black Woman Conference, and it is National Black Girl Day Off, I think is what it's called. And I'm excited about that. Make sure you follow my page. She's doing a BOGO right now. We can get 50% off for you and one of your sister friends. You don't want to miss that. That's happening right here in Dedham, Massachusetts at the Hilton. So I definitely want to see you out, meet me there, actually beat me there. And I'm looking forward to that next weekend. And then we are back doing the part 2 of our sisterhood, series that we're doing with Puff and Process around connecting with each other on the level of sisters. If you've ever said that you don't get along with females or you don't have any female friends, you need to be in the room and talk about how that may have transpired and why you feel that way. So tonight's conversation, y'all are probably like, okay, Coach, what do you not do? But tonight's conversation is really going to be grounded in resilience. And why? Because we're talking about living with a chronic condition, a chronic illness. And a lot of people, don't judge a book by its cover, are dealing with these things. And season 8 is all about the power of the pivot. And you know, the part 2 of this series is about reclaiming. So tonight we're talking about reclaiming your health, especially when you've been diagnosed with something that is incurable or they don't really know what to do with it. So you are trying to manage it and how that impacts your mental health, that impacts your quality of life. And so tonight, that's what we're really going to start to explore and uncover with my special guest. So y'all might want to know who am I bringing here. Some of y'all know her. She's been on here before. And tonight, she's coming to talk about something pretty serious and is near and dear to my heart and her heart, because as her friend and business partner, I didn't even know that she was battling this and grappling with this on a day-to-day basis. And it was a reality check for me, and as a friend, a concerning moment. But then I said, you know what? If she would have never told me that, I would not know. She always says she's the strongest person. There's no one stronger than her. And I never really understood where that was coming from until she opened up about it. So I'm excited about bringing her on because she is the founder and creative director of the Posh group. She's a premier event designer that has over 25 years worth of experience. Her fingerprint has been on so many iconic Boston events, and she is the true diva for being behind the scenes. From Dimick Center stepping out to the Emerald Ball featuring legends like Freddie Jackson, George Benson. She has long-standing partnerships with the Prince Hall Grand Lodge. And beyond that, she's a single mother. She's a creative visionary. She is a sickle cell awareness advocate. And she has produced events like the annual walk for sickle cell, the Red Ribbon Gala and Scholarship Awards to uplift and celebrate survivors and their families. I have officially tonight decided to stop calling people survivors and to start calling them thrivers, because every day I see her get up and thrive. She is also the co-founder of the Enchanted Black Santa, which you guys may have seen that we've done several events here at the Urban Heat Station, but we've also seen them throughout the community. And her whole idea is to reimagine holiday joy and to bring a lens of diversity and inclusion and representation. Both through her artistry and her advocacy, LaDonna embodies what it means to celebrate life with intention, even when faced with a chronic illness. So I'm so excited to bring my guest onto the stage, onto the virtual couch. And I need y'all to give her a nice warm welcome as I turn her mic on and bring her into the fold. Welcome to the virtual couch, Miss LaDonna.
Thank you.
You look so cute. I'm loving you. I'm loving the whole look.
Thank
you look
you.
very bright and, shiny and just glowing. And I'm happy that you're here, girl.
Thank you, Coach.
On so many levels, right? Like, people don't know the struggles that we go through to show up every day. So I read your bio, which I'm thoroughly impressed with your plethora of events. I'm always in awe of all that you've done. Because when you're someone's friend, you don't always know their resume, right? We're not bragging about what we've done and who we've met and all of this. We just, chilling and talking girlfriend talk. And I talk big trash. She gets to see a whole nother side of Coach that y'all don't get to see. And she always says this saying, I love every bit of it, Coach. I love every minute of it. But I'm like, you better not tell nobody all this stuff. But I am a whole bowl of Fruit Loops, I tell you. But who is LaDonna Hampton outside of the resume and bio? What is something that people don't know about you? And how has your medical condition shaped your purpose and your journey?
So what people don't know is I have a very rare disease. that affects mostly women. It's a cystic lung disease, and it's called LAM for short.
y'all.
The medical name for it, and I know I'm going to mess this up, is lymphangiomatosis.
Lamb, y'all.
That's why we call it LAM. LAM. You can look it up, Google it. LAM disease. But what it's done to me is 7 years ago. I was actually just finishing up an event at Prince Hall. That was June 10th, 2017. And I was fine. I went home. I was a little tired. I was a little heavier then. So that was one symptom that I just took for granted. Didn't know, like every day, okay, it's winter time or summertime. We're just a little overweight. We ate too much. And so I had shortness of breath.
Wow.
And so the next day I went to the ER. I was like, something's just not right here. I just hadn't been to the gym. But I always go check myself out. About 30 minutes later, after being in the ER, 2 doctors came in. They did some tests, put me in a room, and they said, Miss Hampton, you have Lyme disease. I said, I'm sorry.
Hell?
That's what I said. I said, I think you might. I said, I think you might have the wrong room. They said, no, your lungs are collapsing.
Oh my God.
So what this disease does, it's what's called a pneumothorax, and my lungs can collapse at any given point in time. I could be talking to you right now, and my lungs could collapse. So there's no cure. What I will say, I've had 8 surgeries, and I think I make it look good.
Girl.
I've had 8 lung surgeries.
And I think one of the reasons why we wanted to chop it up about this is that I know that somebody that's listening to the show might also be going through something that you can't see. And there are so many medical conditions that unless someone discloses it to you or has an episode, you would never know. When people have epilepsy, for instance, unless they tell you, you don't know.
I have epilepsy too.
I didn't know that. Yeah. See, now it's a new thing I'm learning about her tonight.
Yep.
But I have chronic asthma, right? And I've had it since I think I was about 3 years old. And for the longest time, that prevented me to do a lot of things. So I shared this at the walk I did. Doing these outdoor walks would completely petrify me. One, I didn't want to pass out. I was afraid if I couldn't breathe, that no one would know what to do.
Right.
I was always just very anxious about it. So I would just stay away from doing a lot of things that I knew would induce potentially an asthma attack.
Right.
I also had a love-hate relationship with having an inhaler. So either I was not putting it in my bag or I wasn't taking it. I didn't want nobody to see me use it. And this was mostly when I was younger. I didn't want anybody to know. And so I think a lot of people, want to just be normal. Right. And what's normal, right? And I think if we talk more about these conditions, we'll find out what's normal is a lot of people are dealing with something.
Yeah.
Like most people don't look at asthma as being a chronic condition, but it is. I take an inhaler once at night and once in the morning, right? And has helped me to not have asthma attacks. But if I stop taking that, I need that medication. If I don't take that for months, you would hear me wheezing.
People take breathing for granted. Girl, I know I did.
Talk about it.
I know I did. And everyone says, well, how do your lungs collapse? What is this? So I tell people the most general version is if you know what a pimple is, a whitehead. So I have a bunch of whiteheads on my lungs. So it looks like a bunch of pimples. When one of those pimples pop, usually it's pus, right? Well, for me, it's air. And so when they start to pop, the air collapses my lungs. And so therefore I can't breathe.
Scary.
And then of course they have to obviously rush me to the ER. So it's 2 surgeries for every time they collapse. They have to stabilize me and try to inflate my lungs. And then they stick them back to my rib cage. So I call myself Humpty Dumpty because.
And she got all these sayings. I swear to God, I never seen a woman with so many sayings.
Because honestly, that's what it is. Because there's 2 different versions. It's a manual, which didn't work. So every 30 days, my lungs were collapsing every 30 days. And so that didn't work. So they said, okay, what do we do with her? So then they tried something called a chemical. And again, what it is in layman's terms is it's like glue, for your lungs. So they glued my lungs to my chest cavity. And so that's why Humpty Dumpty, how they put me back together. There's no there's medication that's stabilizing me, but there's no cure. So again, I'm a realist. This disease will eventually catch up to me. So I tell people, go to the doctor. The shortness of breath, I just thought I was a little overweight. No. Had I waited, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you.
Yeah,
So,
listening to your body is
exactly.
real. Shout out to my friend Musu. Same thing. She is a thriver for breast cancer. And that was one of the things, like, don't ignore the subtle signs. Like, make sure you're going and getting your checkups. But I think even more so than that is to keep a journal, right? And an inventory of what is bothering you, what is going on with you. And to have those candid conversations with your doctor, because one of the things that also happens is sometimes they don't listen, right? And we don't listen either, because
they don't.
I always get on you because you talk about being the strongest person in the room, and I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean you're the strongest person in the room, LaDonna?
So you get on me. My sister, gotta love my sister, gotta love my business partner, everyone, all my friends that know me, even my team, my event planning team. They call me a little Energizer Bunny, because if you see me, like you said, I'm always zipping around. I'm pulling, tugging, lifting. If my pulmonologist saw me, they'd have a cow. And so everyone's like, sit down, sit down, sit down. I don't want to sit down. I can't sit down, because if I sit down, that means I'm succumbing to this. I don't want to stop. That means if I stop, I've given up. So mentally, I cannot do that. Of course, when I was originally diagnosed, of course, it was a mental challenge. I was in my head for a minute. It's been 7-8 years now.
You've already beat the odds in so many ways, right?
Exactly.
And I got what you meant by that once I got a chance to really understand your story. And even more so, like, the different surgeries, like, that is not an easy task to go through. And so it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of prayer. And also you taking care of yourself too, right? Like,
yes.
As much as you push yourself, you also do rest.
I try. I have insomnia severely. So I've been up at most times 3 days.
Is that because of not being able to sleep because of the condition, do you think?
Some of it's 50-50. I've just always had an issue sleeping. It has worsened now. And of course, with some deficiencies, I look a little different. My skin looks a little different. It's just a plethora of things that since this has happened, I have transformed in a sense. I'm a little, smaller, but my weight does go up and down. Weight does play a factor in it. But they want me to, try to walk. But 10, 15 minutes later, I'm out of breath. But looking at me, like, I have a handicap plaque. Everyone's like, oh, prime parking.
I did ask that. I was like, girl, where you handicapped at?
Right.
You moving around just fine.
Right.
Every now and again, she'll say, she needs to take a minute. But again, I'm an asthmatic. So I'm used to seeing that. I just assume maybe you had asthma like me, But,
and that's the thing. Everyone says, well, they think it's, no, I don't. I said, I wish I had asthma. You know why? Because at least you have an inhaler to assist you.
Right.
I have 0.
Right.
My lung capacity right now is 31% out of 100.
Well, that means it went up 1% since the last time we talked. Is it possible that it increases?
Never.
Oh.
No. You can it only decreases. But that's okay.
Well,
that's okay.
Well, again, tonight's conversation is really about the power of the pivot and reclaiming. So often life's. Beyonce didn't say this first because I feel like she took it from someone else. But when life throws you lemon, you make lemonade, right? And if you like me, you might spike it. So anyway, so let's go into the next. Let's talk about what therapy means to you. As you guys know, I'm a psychotherapist by day, and a lot of my clients are dealing with conditions like this that you know nothing about, right? And mental health, I think, is one of those things. Mental health doesn't always show itself. And we all have mental health. I think that's the other thing I really want to make sure I emphasize, and I've been doing that a lot more. Just like physical health, we all have mental health. So no one is exempt from managing their mental health.
Right.
But the things that may be impacting it can look different for you and me. What I may be able to just brush off my shoulders and be, my bounce back might be a lot quicker, but it'll be different for you.
Right.
You might actually really be impacted where you are depressed, down, out. So one of the things why I bring that up is I'm in awe of you. I admire you, right?
You.
Because not everybody who is grappling with you're grappling with handles it with grace and with the tenacity and the resilience that you have demonstrated.
Thank you.
And I know you didn't want to get emotional, so I'm trying not to make you emotional because I already see your eyes looking at me all like the doggy eyes. I see them. I see it happening. But I embrace it. I just think that this is where the world could be a little kinder, a little nicer.
Yeah.
We don't always know what someone is grappling with. So one of the things I think about is someone who's late for work.
Yes.
With something like what you're dealing with, you got to slow down. You got to pace yourself. And sometimes we just don't know. And just, giving a person just some grace.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people that are so, I don't know, the best word is anal. And it just so everything has to be done in a particular order that they don't necessarily give grace. They don't necessarily think about what someone could be going through and what could be impacting their performance. And one of the things we talked about last week is that those are some of the signs of burnout, right? Is like missed deadlines, your productivity just being not the same, irritability, all of these things. So I really admire that you're able to push through it and that you still show up, and you show up with the same level of energy. And I'm like, girl, if you don't sit down and let somebody else do it, somebody else can help.
Yeah.
But have you thought about, one of the things is that we as Black women especially don't always ask for help, and we're not open to receiving help, and how that plays into not just having the condition, but just that pressure we have to be strong. Yes. And to not let anybody see that we need help or that there's any level of weakness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my sister and my best friend, people here at the station are my biggest cheerleaders. My biggest cheerleaders. And I do feel I have to push, because if I don't, I feel like a failure to a degree, because I'm not one that uses this disease as a crutch. And like you said, my motto is nobody's stronger than me. Every time I go to the hospital, every time I, get blood drawn, every time I walk into 75 Francis Street, into that lung center, I always have to say, nobody's stronger than me. Because I know when I walk through those doors, it's something. It's going to be something.
Right.
And so between my team, you, my business partner, I can let go. I can breathe sometimes. Behind a closed door, like the general public will see this. But when I close that door and take a minute after an event, or even if you and I are doing an event or something, I will go behind that door, breathe for 10 seconds. Nobody's stronger than me, and suck it back up and go back out. But I have to, because my business will suffer. No one will hire you if they feel you can't do the job.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I've been doing this for so long. My reputation, nobody wants someone who's dragging their feet, is late. No one wants that. No one's going to hire me. So I'm officially retired. So my company is my livelihood now. Mm-hmm. I used to have both. Coming from corporate America to just this now, it's a change, but it's a financial change, lifestyle change, just overall. But I found out who my friends were and who my true business partners were, and just clients in general.
Yeah.
The ones that did know.
Right.
So it definitely is a difference.
It's interesting. Again, shout out to my really good friend, DJ Nestle Quick. They say you really find out who your people are when they check on you when you're quiet. You know, like especially I'm loud and outgoing and all those things, but it's like, you know, when people get quiet, that's you should wonder, especially if they're always, you know, the outspoken ones, and get curious about things. And I think if we did that, hey, that's so different than their normal persona, right? Like she's typically not late. I wonder what's going on. I wonder what's happening. Just check on people a little bit more. I think we
That part.
as a society and as a world, we get so inundated with our day to day that slowing down, it's just something we don't do. And I'm intentional about my rest. Some people say, you know, Coach, you're always outside. You're always doing this. If you know me, you know, I slow all the way down and I do rest. And it's important to be able to do that. And I would like to think I've been that mirror for you. I'm like, okay, it's okay for us to take a rest. It's okay for us to slow down for a minute. It's even okay at an event to stand in the background for a second or two and see your hard work play out and allow your team to do what you put them in place to do, which is to do their roles. Yeah. I'm just reflecting. So did you know this? For those that may know this, please, you know, hit the like button, comment, share this live. But over 133 million Americans live with at least one chronic condition. And when we think about chronic condition, that can be high blood pressure, that can be diabetes. And although a lot of these things you can take medication for, I feel like whenever you're taking medication for something, it's pretty chronic. What do you think about that?
I mean, see, they put, I think, emphasis on the chronic and then taking medication. But a part of me, I know this is probably going to sound political, it's the pharmaceutical companies. Like there are just some things that people have, some diagnosis that there is no medication for, or there's no real medication for, but they feel they need to give you something because they feel like they're doing something. I know for me, the one drug that's FDA approved is called everolimus. It hasn't done anything for me, to be honest with you. It hasn't, except take my hair out, change my skin. My stomach is a lot. So it's internally done things to me. But for them, they feel better by giving me something because I've had this disease now for 8 years.
Right.
And I just went to the doctor 2 weeks ago. There's nothing they can do for me. So why are you pumping me with medication for a chronic illness? Why? To make you feel better or to keep the pharmaceutical companies alive and kicking?
Well, it's interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up. So I agree, and I think what I've also been told is sometimes it's just to try to slow it down from progressing faster, and then sometimes it's also just maintenance because people need a way to manage it to live with it. But I remember at one point before, you know, shout out to me, I lost almost 100 pounds, y'all. Yay. Anybody noticed that? Coach is much slimmer now
and looking great.
Thank you. And the other day I went up 4 flights of stairs and I was on the phone. And when I got up to the top of the stairs, I was like, oh, ish. I just did that. Like, oh shoot, I did not take my inhaler. And I mean, I was a little winded, but nothing major. Like what I had done before. And I got up and did it in like record-breaking time. And when I got to the top, the idea that my sister's elevator was down, I was annoyed with it. But there was a time I would have literally probably stood at the bottom of the stairs and just really just been like, oh God.
Right.
And I would have had to take 3 stairs, break, take another step, break. But to have done a 2.5 walk earlier that day, walk Newberry Street for food, and then go up 4 flights of stairs was such an accomplishment. Absolutely. Above and beyond the weight loss, right? It was just, I'm moving around.
Yes.
And that, I tell you, my shirt says health as well. We're getting older, and like that's the biggest currency. What does it matter? Yeah. All the money you have, all the events you do, if you don't have your health.
Exactly.
So my heart goes out to people that are dealing with things that they're like, there's nothing that they can do. But then we go to, what do you do if that is the case? And the whole episode is about still having joy, still living your life, and finding a way to do that. So talk to us about how you've been able to do that, because you still have a very vibrant life. You still have a good time. You still smile. You're like, I enjoy being around you. So despite all of that, you still find joy. You still find a way to show up and be your best self. And for those that might be going through the same thing, where do you draw that motivation and that spirit from?
I'm going to have to say my family, my friends, significant others. It's just, you need a support system. You know, they say back in the day, it takes a village. When you have something like this, and I know there are 1,000 people out there who have worse than me, because I can still walk, talk on my own, get in my car, just with limitations. But I find that energy is very important. Stress makes me tight. I can't do stress. And I've learned now that I'm over 50, that my tolerance.
Over 50 where?
Yeah, thank you.
Over 50 where?
I'm 53. And here's the thing. I feel good to say that now. Really? I do. I think now that I'm older, I've gone through all of this. This journey has made me a different person, because back in college, and there's one person here who knows this, and we speak now. I was a different person in college. I was a mean girl. I was a brat. I was just a totally different LaDonna. Now that I have this disease, and now that I'm older, it has humbled me. I give people grace. I give myself grace. So between my sisters, my mom, oh my goodness, she's my biggest cheerleader, and she's a rock star because she has sarcoidosis. So lung diseases, again, check your family history, people. My brother passed away of it. He had it. My mother has it. She's 84 and she still drives. She has a little rollator, but she still gets out there. And it's just, check your history. But my family, friends like you, my best friend Yvette, my sisters, Cheryl, everyone knows Cheryl, my nieces and nephews, and my business partner, all of them, they're my cheerleaders. They're, when I have my days and you call and bug me, and if I don't answer, you all roll up. You all have keys. I can't even lock you out because everyone's got keys. So I just have to, I'm sorry, my headphones dropped off. It's a joy to have people like you and others in my life, because if I didn't, I think my mental would be different.
Right.
I wouldn't be smiling. I couldn't do my events. I could not function because I would be a negative Nancy. And some days I am, because I'm angry. I'm going to be honest. Anybody who has anything, I think, in life can be angry.
Yeah.
And I have finally, and you've allowed me to say, it's okay, LaDonna, to be angry.
Yes, it is.
It's okay.
It is. You know, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got some check-ins. Suzanne Orborn, what's up, girl? Coming to get it on the virtual couch. Tony Bone, what's going on? We are glad you came, got on the couch. Of course, Shotgun Sandy, always a supporter. We appreciate everybody. And then we got a whole bunch of people that's tapped in on IG. Thank you to all the Instagram folks. You know, I got to get my laptop because IG is so small, but I see y'all take over photography. My auntie, hey, hi, Auntie Cassandra's on here. Black Light Crystal, shout out to y'all. My cousin, Prince Price, 30. What's going on, DJ Dex? I appreciate all y'all for tuning in from IG and jumping on the couch with us tonight. And again, we're talking about living with a chronic illness. And how do you keep moving forward and betting on self even when, you know, these things come about? Because I would take this as this is a lifing. This is an unexpected. Although when I was doing financial services, disabilities and chronic illnesses were the top thing that got in the way, not death. And most people didn't think about these type of disabilities being long-term disabilities that you have to live with that stops you from doing your initial career, right? So like you got to find or do a modification because you can't do what you were doing before. And we've talked about you sometimes feeling like, maybe you should just stop this event planning business and, pivot and do something else because it requires so much of you. Like if you got to move around and you got to, go here, there, everywhere. And we've talked about building of a team because you like to do everything yourself.
I do. I have control issues.
a little bit. She got a little bit of control issues. But instead of throwing in the towel altogether, how do you make those modifications? And again, season 8 is about the power of the pivot. And sometimes those pivots people think are failure and they're not. They're adjustments that help you to keep going forward. So how have you pivoted? And what are some of the things that you've done that have kept you still in this business for 25 years? Because you're still out there doing events.
I am. And to be honest with you, it's friends like you. And then there are others that come to me, not even just for hands-on to do something, but more for consultation. Mm-hmm. So I've been able to still be relevant, but behind the scenes, still have my hand in the event industry, maybe not so much in the forefront, but I can still point, I call point and click. You put it there, because I have a strong team now. And like I said, shout out to my team, Chi-Chi, Vicky, Cheryl, Ms. V. I mean, you guys are phenomenal. Yvette, even my son, he's the Incredible Hulk. Everyone knows Cameron. He's the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, we like to bring them on all the trips.
Right.
Him and my son, Rashad, we got them carrying everything and going back and forth because I'm not lifting nothing with no whole 19. Well, now he's 20.
Right.
We make them do everything.
Right. We do. But all that comes with, accepting, and I've come to accept this, but I'm not going to give up. So just because I slowed down doesn't mean I've given up. I will say now that we're, 8 years in, it has changed for me. So I have to slow down now. My lungs are making me slow down because my capacity is decreasing, but I'm not going to stop. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sit in the chair now and tell you what to do, where to put it. My business partner, he knows, my son knows. So even if, I can't physically do it, everyone knows the routine. What's her style? What does she do? So it's become easier, again, because it takes a village. I couldn't do any of this without my team, my best friend, like I said, my partner, significant other. Like I couldn't do any of it without you guys.
Yeah.
Without it. And shout out to Marv.
Yes, and Marv.
Shout out to Marv.
Marv has been a huge supporter.
He's been a huge supporter.
One of the things he said recently when he went on with Java with Jimmy on WGBH was creating the Urban Heat and allowing this to be a platform for a lot of individuals who would have never done radio before, but also an extension. The events, our space here, space at Westinghouse, we're constantly being innovative and constantly looking for ways to lift each other up and create opportunities for people to do what they love and to fulfill their dreams. So shout out to Marv. He goes to everybody's events, shares events, buys tickets. He's an amazing soul. So when we think about advocating, right, one of the other big things that comes up, especially for Black women, is often not getting the support and getting misdiagnosed. So 3 and 4 times more likely Black women are to experience a preventable health complication due to a bias or delayed diagnosis. Do you feel like the medical providers that you've come across were quick in finding out what was wrong, or did it take a while for them to figure out that you had LAM?
So it's a funny question, but 2-part. So that night, like I said, I went to the ER. They told me what it was. However, I've been to 3 hospitals now. And so my initial hospital was BIDMIC. If anybody's in the medical world, that's Beth Herzl Deaconess Medical Center. I've had my first 4 surgeries there. They, like I said, every 30 days, they just kept collapsing. Nobody knew what to do with me. They kind of threw their hands up, but they still kept me. I said, I can't do this. I'm not doing this because I had been what I call a professional patient since I was 9 with the epilepsy and those other issues. And being in healthcare, that was my corporate America. I knew I just couldn't sit around. I wasn't going to sit around. I wasn't going to let whatever this was get the best of me. So I did my own homework. I did my own research. And that's one of the things I think in dealing with the sickle cell community, as well as having my own issues, you have to be your own advocate. You have to do your homework. You just can't wait and say, oh, well, the doctor knows best. I didn't go to medical school, but I went to college. Like, I know better. And so I found the the Center for Chest Diseases at Brigham and Women's. I found that, not Beth Israel. They didn't know it existed. So I did my own research. Hence,
Let's give it up for that. Y'all need to
they do.
hit the heart button, like button in the comments, because I think, when we think about tonight's episode being about reclaiming your health, sometimes you do have to give that pushback, get those second opinions,
Yes.
write down your symptoms and challenge. I don't just because someone's a doctor that they know everything. Even with
Absolutely.
me being a psychotherapist, I love when people are involved and engaged with the process and that they're also just as interested in finding out what's going on. Because again, I don't know all of what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the expert of your body, what you're feeling, what's going on, what's working, what's not working. So
Right.
I love that, you were able to get more support and find out. Now, we are going to talk about, of course, your bet on self moment, but there's been some positives and some changes in what originally you were saying in terms of them saying there was nothing they could do for you.
Right.
So there's been a change of lanes, shall I say, or shall we say?
Yes.
Talk to us about that. So what are some of the updated things that have sort of transpired?
So now that we're in 2025, like I said, in this particular disease, my lungs are shot. So we're just going to say, pretty much my lungs are no good. Last year, in February, my pulmonologist said, hey, because I brought it up. I said, well, what about a lung transplant? How about that? They shot that down. Mm-hmm. They said it probably kill you faster. Because of it's an autoimmune and the way this grows on my lungs, it'd be no good. Can't do it. Like I said, Humpty Dumpty, I would bleed out, like all these things. So you're going to make me cry. I'm going to try not to.
Don't cry. Don't cry. So we're doing good. We're doing
Monday, good. I got a phone call from my lung center, what they call under new management, new eyes, new doctors, new team, a new pulmonary team. Said that my old pulmonologist kicked my case over to them, and given my decreasing lung capacity, and where I was in this disease, they want to reopen my case and they want to see me. So I have an appointment in 2 weeks to potentially get new lungs.
God is good. I know since she told me, I've been praying. I know a lot of people, shout out to Yvette. Yvette's on the live. We appreciate you, Yvette, and being her bestie and just, keeping hope alive. But I think really it comes down to you too. As much as you hate going to these appointments.
I hate
it. As much as you just want to throw your hands up, you have Cheryl, Yvette, people like go.
Yeah.
And I think when we think about mental health and what therapy means, yes, you can sit down across from someone like me, but often it's those check-ins and that encouragement that's therapy. Checking on your strong friend, right? The one that's saying that, how do you say that saying that I hate so much? The girl in the corner.
Oh, the little black girl in the corner you're not supposed to see.
Yeah, the little black girl in the corner that you're not supposed to see is seen, right? And pulling you out and involving you and checking in on you. Like, those things I think are keeping you connected to want to go because there's people who care.
Yes.
And want to see you do good. That stuff matters.
It does.
It matters, especially in those moments where you want to throw your hands up and you don't want to move or you just feel tired. You're exhausted. And that person's like, wait a minute, what's going on, girl?
And that's Yvette, because the other part of this disease is it's very painful. Mm-hmm. So if you ever go to the hospital, they'll say, okay, what is your number? From 0 to 10, where are you at? So my daily for the last 8 years is stuck on 5, between 5 and 6. So as we speak now, it hurts to breathe and talk to you. Mm-hmm. But I've dealt with it it's my everyday, just like writing my name, drinking water, whatever. But that's the part that sometimes I get in too much pain or a lot of pain, and they will come and check when I go quiet. When I go dark, they're like, "Hey, it's
She do
been
that
a
sometimes.
day. Where are you?"
She do that sometimes.
Because it hurts, and you don't want people to see your pain. I don't want anyone to see me cry, because to me that's a sign of weakness.
I keep trying to tell people, crying is self-care. It's a release, right? But you know what it is. She cute and everything. She don't want to do the ugly cry on camera. That's all that is. She's so worried about looking cute. You don't want to do the ugly cry, and that's all. Don't do the ugly cry. Don't do the ugly cry,
Can't do it.
But I told you she'll be fine. So, that we do this segment, right? Where we talk about the bet on self, right? And I love this because it's helped me through my grief. And, bet on self moments are those moments where you say, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? And my father would always say, baby, as long as you bet on yourself, you always will be a winner, right? That's the only thing you can really control is how you show up and how you look at a situation. And back then I wasn't a therapist. My father wasn't a therapist. Mm-hmm. But it's really sort of framed for me what I couldn't really put into words before I went to school and got my my master's degree in clinical social work. People would be like, how do you do it? How do you keep pushing forward? How do you go through a domestic violence situation and be in grad school and be a single mother and go through a foreclosure and still go to class and do all of this stuff, which I didn't get foreclosed on, y'all, but I was going through all of these things. And people were like, how do you do that? How do you go through these breakups and go through all of this stuff and you come to class and you're still showing up? And I really didn't have an answer. But I always realized that there was so much going on around me that I just had to keep showing up and betting on myself.
Right.
And keep on pushing forward. What really was I going to do? I wasn't going to throw all my chips in and just lose.
Right.
So I'm like, shoot, we're going to roll again. Here we go. So I think, bet on self moment for you, the framework of what I just explained, past, current, or future. What's in store for LaDonna? What's the bet on self moment for you?
Well, keep pushing. No matter what, I'm going to keep showing up, like you said, even in my time of pain. And I'm trying through, obviously, my friends and family and you to get out of my head because I'm in my head a lot.
Okay.
And that isn't healthy. I know for me, I've created vision boards, again, because of you. So now I see things a little differently.
Folks begin therapy and they don't even realize it.
Exactly.
I be trying not to do therapy on my friends. But, again, I say the essence of therapy so people can stop being afraid of it is about helping you grow. Yeah. It's about gaining new perspectives. It's about having people who challenge you to hold yourself accountable, to see yourself, to show up 1% better than the day before. When you really think about what therapy is, right? It's about being seen. It's about feeling loved, feeling heard. So yes, my friends get therapy, y'all. My family gets therapy, right? We should all be engaging in these things to help our mental health be at the optimum level. And I think if we normalize that, it wouldn't seem like this foreign thing, right? Folks wouldn't feel like it was like, oh God, what are you trying to do therapy on me? I'm not. I'm just listening to you. I'm giving you eye contact. I'm being concerned about how you are. I'm concerned about what would make your day better. How was your day? Authentically, I'm concerned.
Right.
And I don't want anything from you.
Right.
I don't need anything from you.
Right.
It's like those phone calls when no one is asking for it. It's no ulterior motive. It's just like, hey, I wanted to hear your voice. How you doing today?
Yeah.
That's all therapy is. It's like, and I think when people understand that, they'll understand why some people are going to therapy, right? Yeah. Because they're not getting that in other areas of their life, or they're not sure if it's authentic, or they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid that people are going to use whatever they share against them in their circle.
Right.
When you think about that, what can we do and how we show up and how we can sort of make and normalize it is just to be a little kinder. That's just my thought. But
anyway. It is. And also too, I know for me, Again, being over 50, I was engaged, and I'm not afraid to say this. I'm no longer engaged for a number of reasons, but um, I had to be okay with me. And I'm still learning that because I was in this mindset when I think the first 2 or 3 years into this, I don't want to die alone. So I was accepting of whatever someone gave me. Well, what do you call it? Crumbs?
Yeah.
I don't do
Breadcrumbing.
crumbs.
But yeah, breadcrumbing.
Yeah,
the bare minimum.
Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We're not. I can't. I won't.
Right.
Because.
And you're not going to die alone.
I know but here's the thing. When you have this or something like, or you can't, whatever,
Right.
that's how you feel. You internalize it. So you think you're going to die alone. So you hold on to what you think is quality, is good for you, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Or these false relationships, whether they're friendships or like between, you and your partner or whatever. I know now, no is no. And that love doesn't hurt. I'm not going to accept anything. I'm not going to accept your crumbs. I'm not your placeholder. Yes, I have something wrong with me, but that's just a physical.
Right. I've been saying this too. Like, I don't want to be the mine as well. Like, I don't want to be the, well, you're here, you've been here, so I might as well, I'm not going to probably, find anyone else. We might as well.
Right.
I just think a lot of people are in or accepting because of a lot of those reasons. And we didn't talk a lot about grief, but just quickly, the idea that people only grieve something that has passed away or the loss of a loved one, but it's also grieving your capacity, your physical capacity, in this case, lung capacity. A lot of times we're dealing with grief.
Yeah.
And grief also will let you what they call bargain. And bargaining becomes, well, if I only could do this, or maybe I'll just accept this. This is probably the best it's ever going to get. Mm-hmm. This is all I deserve. I only have a little bit of time left, so I might as well make the best of what this is.
Right. Settling. I'm not settling anymore. My sister, God love Cheryl. I know I'm a whole hot mess with my sister, but and my best friend and you and a couple others, but I am no longer settling. And I can say that out loud and be okay with it. That's the thing. That's the takeaway. Be okay. It's okay to be okay. And then it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to wake up today and say, you know what? I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Today's not the day.
Today's not the day.
And not to allow it to be the whole day. Your morning could start off rough, maybe your afternoon, maybe you didn't have the best night. But try to find something to be grateful for. Mm-hmm. Try to find something to keep you grounded and anchored in gratitude, because even in our worst situations, we've already survived 100% of our worst days in so many ways. Every surgery you survived, I'm sure in those moments was like the worst, it's like to be sitting here across from me and to be at a 5, right? When it was probably like past a 10. So there's always something to be grateful for. Even just the opportunity and the hope gives some optimism about the future, because at first it was no options and now there's some options.
It is. And I'm happy.
That is a beautiful thing.
It is.
It's just to have options. I love that. I love that for us. I love options. I keep saying that, grab your options, people. Don't put yourself in a box. People will try to put you in a box, but don't let them. Don't let them try to decide what your life is supposed to look like. Because even if you have a short time, because sometimes they'll tell you you only got 6 months. And I've found that they've told people that and they switch their attitude and they live way longer than the 6 months.
Attitude is everything.
I will say this too. Don't wait until you get a chronic condition to start to live and to start to want joy and to start to not want to settle. How can you start to live more authentically right now? Mm-hmm. Which we have the segment that I also like, which we'll talk about right now. Yes, Coach's Corner. Oh, I love that I have segments. It makes me really happy. But, everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs someone in their corner.
Yes, they do.
Right? Everybody needs that person that's going to cheer them on, challenge them to be a better person,
Yeah.
hold them accountable to their goals and their dreams. So in this segment, we sort of reflect on all that, key takeaways, something that we want the audience to leave with as the week goes on. There's a reason why this show is on a Sunday at night at 10 o'clock. For all you insomniacs that don't sleep, right? All you people that tomorrow are going to stroll. My vision is this is legacy, because this whole season 8 is about legacy. If I were to die tomorrow, I've created my legacy with Conversation with Coach La. You can go and Google me and hear my thoughts. My son can hear my thoughts, my future family members that I hope to meet. But if I don't, they'll be able to go back and say, I wonder what my auntie thought about this. I wonder what my sister thought about this. Or my great aunt, grandmother, So once my father passed away, I thought a lot about legacy, right? Like we're his legacy, but beyond that, I wish we would have had more of his nuggets and wisdoms that weren't just in my head. Right. So I documented in this show a lot of the things I say, my father has said, my mother has said. So when we think about our journeys, especially both me being a asthmatic and you having Lamb, what are some things we want people to sort of reflect on and think about? If you're out there and you recently got a diagnosis and it feels like it's the end of the world, it's not curable, and you're just ready really to throw in the towel, what do we want them to think about? What is something you can say that would encourage somebody?
To take a moment to process it. Processing, having quiet time, just for 24 hours, 48 hours, let it sink in, process it. Don't make any rash decisions, because you've heard this news and you're kind of like all over the place. Let your mind settle. Then obviously gather your thoughts and do your homework. Be your own advocate. I know I want to say be positive, but depending upon what it is, maybe you can't be at that time. Then you know what? Find a friend, a coworker, a loved one, or someone, or a therapist to say, I'm not okay. And to say that out loud, not just in your head. Say, I'm not okay. And it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
Because if you can do all of that, then you will be okay. You're going to be mad for a minute. You're going to be hurt. You're going to be angry. All these things, because you're going to say, why? I know I did. Because I'm a good person. I try. I give 1,000%. You know that. And a lot of my friends, I give you 1,000%. I could be on 10 for pain. But because I'm genuine, I show up like that, I'm okay. And the same thing happens with someone who, like you said, if they're about to throw in a towel, no. Because you know what? I have too much to live for. Know your worth.
Yes.
Because if something happens to me, my friends, I have a son. He's 25. What's going to happen to him? Take a moment, come out of your head, process, take a deep breath, and then go back to it.
Yes. And I have this question for everyone that's listening. What part of your health story do you need to reclaim? Your voice, your confidence, your peace. And I really want folks to think about, these are all things from diabetes to high blood pressure to obesity, right? Just recently, me and my sister, shout out to my sister Shamina, reclaimed our health in terms of our weight, right? I mean, I was having knee issues. There was just a lot of things that had started to happen. And so, yes, no fat shaming, as they call it, and all of that, which I'm not with any of that. But there are things that can be a part of that losing weight can be helpful. But just because someone is slim and fit doesn't mean that they're healthier, right? And I think we can judge books by their cover. We never know what people are dealing with. So what part of your health story? And that could just be going to the doctor. That could be taking care of your teeth. That could be making sure that, you wear your glasses and you do your eye exams. There's just all of these things that I think that we have to make sure that we are taking care of, and don't wait until you're older or you get a diagnosis to start doing it. Start doing it now.
Right. Absolutely.
It's going to be the top of the hour. We're going to have to just allow the legal disclaimer to just come on through in just a second here. And then we're going to wrap up the virtual couch. I hope y'all are enjoying tonight's conversation, because I know I am. And I hope you're getting inspired, encouraged, and that you feel seen. Because I know a lot of people are dealing with this stuff. I know, because I am. And I have friends too. Here we go.
We are the Urban Heat. Expect the unexpected. Unorthodox radio from Boston and beyond. Heat981fm.com and iHeartStation.
Yes. That's a good sign, because we're almost at the end of the hour together, right? And we've learned a lot. We spent a lot of time together. Just sitting here every week on the virtual couch with us is self-care, right? It's a moment to pause, reflect, and to check in and hear somebody else's testimony, somebody else's bet on self story. Shout out to the Urban Heat. Shout out to Marv Neal for encouraging me to do a show, because it took me a while to decide to do this, for all the things you could think of. Judgment, what will I talk about? Do I want to expose myself and, be out here on display where the world can hear me? So there's a lot of nerves that goes into doing the show every week, believe it or not. No, y'all don't think I get nervous, but I do. So closing thoughts from me, right, is the Bet on Self framework is connected to belief, empowerment, and transformation. I want you to believe that healing starts with your mindset. You are not your diagnosis. Empower. I want you to speak up and seek help and take space in the medical rooms. Don't just take that what's being told to you is just what it is. Bring someone with you. If you struggle with terms, I still can't pronounce what LaDonna has, but I can say lamb, yeah. Right? Find ways to communicate with your doctor. Print things out, and make sure that you are an active participant. Have them repeat themselves. They can repeat themselves. A lot of these medical terms are difficult to pronounce, better yet to understand. Transform, redefine what thriving looks like for you. We say surviving, but let's thrive. Let's not just survive anymore, people. Let's look at all of the ways that you're thriving and moving through life, because there's so many things that we're doing really, really well. And I want to give people more credit for that on a consistent basis. So we also talked about a couple of things that you can do. There's 3 things you can do right now to bet on yourself. Schedule your next checkup. For everybody who's tuned in, that assessment, that checkup, that follow-up appointment that you keep canceling and putting off, go and get that done. Go get your blood work done and check your levels. I found out I was exhausted because my vitamin D level was so low. And that's why I was fatigued and I was yawning and I was tired. Something as simple as taking a vitamin D tablet every day has boosted my energy. Write one affirmation about your strength. LaDonna, what's your affirmation? You say it every time you go in.
Nobody's stronger than me.
Have your thing. I say bet on myself. I'm like, Coach, how are you going to save yourself today? How are you going to bet on yourself today? What is one thing that you can do today that's going to move you closer to your dreams and goals, right? 3, share this episode with someone who's managing a chronic illness. Encouragement is in community. Like I said last week on the show with Dr. Claude, community and mothering the community by just showing up and providing resources is so important. I learned this acronym for a presentation that I recently did, and it was called ICU. You know what an ICU is, right? Mm-hmm. In our medical, that's where you usually go when you need urgent care and it's an emergency. But ICU is also a way that we can use to see each other. Just like it says, I see you. So identify, check in with people, right? Offer care by just connecting with them, right? That phone call, hey, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute. And then last, that you is understanding their situation and actively listening to how to support them and thinking about how you can move forward and support. I think that is the big one. How can I support you with whatever you're going through? Ask, don't assume. And I think you'll be surprised that we could do a lot better in mothering and supporting one another. What else you got over there, LaDonna? Anything you want to add as we get ready to say goodbye and good night?
I think you covered a lot of it, but just like you said, keep your appointments. If you feel something's off, it probably is. Go check it out. Don't wait. Have that support system. Just take care of yourself, and it's okay again not to be okay, and talk. No one can help you if you don't speak up. Mm-hmm. Find that person, whether it's one person or two. It's okay to say something. You need to say something. Um, Check your family history. Do your homework. That is the biggest thing. Do your own homework. Um, and part of what's helping me is, all these gadgets we have. I have a smartwatch and a smartphone. I track my, ups and downs. Anything I want to take to my physician, I track it. If you can sit on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and scroll through that, you can track your breathing, your heart rate, and anything else that you can do. Watch your steps. How about that? So when you go to the doctor, you have something to show them because all they have to go on is your word.
That's right. And I love that you said that. I have an Apple Watch I asked for a Christmas gift. I love this watch. It reminds me to stand up.
Yep.
Because
Exactly.
I sit all day. It reminds me to stand up. It gives me cheers me on when I close my rings.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised the same way we are all addicted to Facebook and social media and you got to go and look at the app. This watch does a similar thing. These gadgets do a similar thing. It's something about the psychology of the brain that those reminders make you have Pavlov's law. It's literally oh, let me get up, let me move, let me close my ring. It does make you feel good to see that little thing flash and it gyrates on your wrist. Hey, I'm just telling you, try it out for yourself. Go get you an Apple Watch, set you some goals. And how will you personally bet on yourself when you're faced with a health challenge? And some of that means getting up and moving your body, people.
Yep.
Start getting up, working out, moving your body, changing the way you eat. Let's all live a little bit. Health is wealth. A little bit helps every day. A little change, small changes, 1% change every day helps you reach your goal. And sometimes the real prescription isn't a pill. It's permission. It's permission to reset, permission to say no, and permission to heal on your own terms. I want to give again some shout outs to everybody who tuned in across all the platforms. Shout out to everybody who's logged in and talked about that they have their own battles that they're facing. LaShawn, thank you. Or Lachey, I think it is. I appreciate you for just sharing that you also are going through something. There's many of us. Again, I have chronic asthma. You wouldn't know it. You don't see me take my inhaler. You have no idea. But my biggest win has been not using my inhaler and being able to do these 5Ks and these walks outside. Oh, I'm just so excited. Next year I will be running. The day I run, y'all, I am going to cry, the big ugly cry, and y'all can talk about me because
I'll be right beside you.
I'm going to be crying the ugly cry when I run next year.
And I'll be right beside you.
I'm going to run my first 5K, and I'm excited about that. So set your goals, and I'm just really excited for life. I'm excited for people to bet on themselves. I've been loving my timeline on social media. So many people are betting on themselves and just doing great things in my community. And I'm excited for that. Keep it up. Keep it going. Y'all keep on betting on yourself this week. Keep on doing what you need to do to take care of you and your family next week. Again, if you are in the Massachusetts area, she said it's LaShaw. If in the Massachusetts area, please come out to the Mindful and Melanated Conference. We are celebrating National Black Girl Day Off. So come out, check it out. Make sure you share this live, and I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Conversations with Coach La right here on the virtual couch. Y'all have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.